Right, so in this video we're going to create a pair of binoculars using Zmodeler, and it's just I have on the other monitor there I just picked out a pair of binoculars off Google Images, and I'm just going to roughly base the design on that design. Just as I said in other videos, it's always imperative to have real world reference to work off, just to it'll make anybody's work better, rather than trying to guess or imagine what something might look like. So we'll start here with a cylinder 3D, drag it out, T to go into edit mode, floor is on, and down to initialize, and I'm going to change the V divide right down so we've no additional segments here, and I'm going to change this to 24. Sorry, 24. Yep, and back up now and make polymesh 3D. So I'm going to press X to turn on symmetry. Just want to find out where the X axis is, because I'm going to rotate it here this way. So snap around and choose our transpose line rotate tool. You can hold shift then to snap that, and rotate it and shift again to snap it. And I want to go back to the front view here, back to move, and turn off symmetry. I'm just going to move it up and off this center axis here, and I'm also going to use the size tool here. It's usually found down here, but I have it onto me custom UI, or else you can just use the transpose scale. Same thing. I'll just move that again and put it maybe about there. Back around to the side, and I'm going to mask it. And I didn't even have to mask it. I'm just going to drag out the length of the binoculars. Right, that's that. And just to make sure when I mirror and weld it across. Okay, clear that mask, draw, and into Zmodeler. So as I've said in the other videos, I have the Zmodeler brush here out on my interface, but you can hotkeys are B to bring up your brushes, Z to bring up your brushes begin with Z, and then M or Zmodeler, or else you can just go up to it here, or any brush for that matter, or icon, hover over it, hold down Control Alt and click, and that will I'm just going to do it in here. Control Alt click, and you can see up the top there, press any key combination. So that's how to get it. So I'd advise setting it up either as a hotkey or have it over here in your interface, because it's a bit of a pain in the arse, BZM every time. So leave that up to you. Right, first things first, now we'll get going on the Zmodeler tools. I'm going to hover over an edge here. I'm not going to go explain everything again. I've explained in the other tools. I'll go quite slowly and show you the tools I'm using, but in some of the other videos I have there, you can get an idea. I think the candle holder videos goes through slowly most of the tools are going to be using. So first things first, I am going to just add an edge loop here. So insert edge loop, and I'm going to insert another one here, and one in the center. Now I want to use the I'm going to slide these verts up, and they're going to be constrained to these the adjoining edges they're connected to. So we'll go to hold down space, select slide, and you can see it sliding on the edge. And same for down here. I'm going to slide this one down just to give me a slight curvature in these faces here that I'm going to select now. Holding down Alt, and holding down Alt just tags those faces to make it easy. It's very handy for different operations. So hold down space, single poly, inset, and inset region. You can hold down shift as well there if you want. when you're insetting, depending on what you're insetting. Right, so next thing now, I'm going to insert some more edge loops. I'm going to insert one here. Just one more thing with the edge loops, depending on which side. So if I insert an edge loop over here, you can see it's following parallel. If I hold shift, the flow of this edge loop here, so I can do the same over this side, and just shift to snap it to that. Hold down shift, and I'm going to bring it across to here, and the same on this side. And if I start it in here, you'll see it snaps parallel to that edge loop there. We bring that into there, and now I'm going to tag these faces and tag these faces, and I'm going to use inset again, single poly with the faces tagged. Hold down shift, drag them in. Now I'm going to tag these again, tag these, hold down alt, and I'm going to use your Q mesh tool, single poly, and Q mesh that out. Now I'm going to hold down, I'm going to go over here and select the mask lasso tool. I'm just going to mask these. Control click on the canvas to convert the mask move, and I will use the transpose line to bring these down. Then I'm going to unmask, and I'm going to bring the whole thing across. It's too far over. And now I'm going to come down here and use clip, the clip curve. Yeah, that's a weird sort of bug in Zbrush. When you click one of any of these, the mask or mostly the selection tools, you have to click it and then just swipe it, and then swipe it again for it to actually get going. So I'm just going to clip that off there. And now if I mirror and weld, it's going to bring that whole side across. So before we do that, there's some adjustments to be made here. So same again, I'm going to use the clip, back to draw. I'm just going to clip off here and clip off here. I think I'll actually invert it and use the transpose line again, just to bring that up, and clear the mask, back to the Zmodeler. So next thing to do now, I'm going to inset and extrude the front part here where the lens is going to be. So spacebar over a face, inset, and inset flat island this time. So we'll inset that, hover over the face, space, Q mesh, polygroup island, because it's automatically created a new polygroup for us here when we inset it. So we'll pull that in and just put in another touch, harden it up there, and then we'll go back to inset and we'll inset that in. I've actually come, no, that doesn't really matter, we're going to have a lens across that, so we can do that now with the Q mesh tool. So if I undo that inset and go back to Q mesh, polygroup island, if I start the Q mesh out and then I hold control, it's going to break that off. And now what I can do is I'm just going to come down here and display properties, turn on double, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to me, select lasso tool, and isolate that, and Control W to make it its own polygroup. And then I'm going to Control Shift swipe to invert that selection. And now I'm going to go to Subtool, down to Split, and Split Hidden, and our lens now will be in its own subtool. So for the moment we can hide that and get back to working on this. So I'm going to mirror and weld it across now, and I can also turn on X symmetry if I want, or I can, you know, work on this side and then just mirror and weld it again. Okay, so we're going to just check. You'll see this, the hotkeys here are D and Shift D to go in and out of, in the geometry rollout here you have dynamic subdivision. So if I click dynamic subdivision, now see this warning here, the mesh contains 26 out of bounds UV coordinates. That comes up sometimes, and if you're getting that problem, you can just come down to UV map, delete UV, and that'll get rid of that problem. I had it a couple of times, didn't know what the hell was going on. I just realised that it was automatically creating a UV map here, or some sort of UVs. Just delete the UVs and continue on. So as I was saying, into the geometry rollout, down to dynamic subdivision, and if I click this button here, it's going to subdivide our mesh. So in the other video I go over a lot of this stuff as well, the Q grid and all this other stuff. There's not really much to it, but I won't go over it again here. And what I am going to do is come down here and change my levels to 4, not 45, change that to 4, and it'll just give us a smoother result. So the hotkeys there are Shift D and D, and that'll come in and out of the same as if you're clicking this dynamic button. So you're going to be going in and out of that a lot, so just remember those hotkeys, D and Shift D. Okay, so just see how things are looking. Turn off the poly frame, and we still have some work to do. So first things first, I'll continue in on the lens here. I'm going to come back to Subtool here and unhide the lens, and I'll leave it there where it is for the moment. So instead of going to the subtool menu, in and out of the subtool menu, a handy hotkey is just hold down Alt and click over any of your subtools, and it'll automatically activate that subtool. So Alt and click over it. Okay, so I want to add some more geometry in here to tighten up some of these edges and to add some little bit of detail inside here, just in front of the lens. So hover over an edge, space, insert, single edge loop, and I'm going to come in here and just put one in here and another couple here, and then I'm going to hover over an edge and select bevel, and I'm going to bevel out these. Now another handy thing you can do here, I was dragging them out there all the time. I didn't even need to do that. I can just create the first one, and then I can just simply click, and that's going to repeat the last action. The same as, it's a very handy tool as well. So remember, you can do the first operation and then just click, and it'll automatically repeat the last. Okay, so QMesh polygroup island, that's what we want to do. So we're going to extrude that, and then we can do the same, click, and I'm going to add in another edge loop here. Sorry, I want to go back to insert, and we'll add in another edge loop here, and I'm going to add one in the center, and then I'm going to add some beveling in here as well. So small bevel here, and the same on this side. Now we can turn off our polyframe here and see what we have. And I'll probably just I'm happy enough with that there now, I suppose. Just going to turn off the floor. I could have tightened them up a bit more, so let's say I want to tighten these up a bit more. I can just come in here, hover over an edge, and back to insert, and I can just add some edges in here just to tighten up some of that detail, just make it a bit sharper. And I think I will go back to my transpose line, and you can just click on the center there and it'll automatically align to this, to the normal. And then if you start moving with the middle toggle, you can hold down shift to restrict it to that axis. I'll just move it up a bit there, and we'll mirror and weld that as well. Okay, now turn polyframe on, back to the low subdivision. And now what I want to do is I'm going to come in here, Q to go back into our move. I'm going to insert an edge loop here and another one here. No, I'll leave that one out. Actually, I'm going to just bevel this one. So bevel, and don't forget to just make sure your targets of edge loop complete. As I say, I go over a lot more of this stuff in detail in the candle holder tutorial. So I'm going to bevel that out, and now I'm going to Q mesh this polygroup island, pull it down once, and click on it to repeat the operation. So now we have a nice hard edge sort of seam here where these two parts of the binoculars come together. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I want to create a similar sort of a seam down the center here on both of these bridge sections. So we're still in bevel. I'm going to hold space and come down to 2 rows and bevel it out. Actually, I'll go to 4 rows, so I can bevel that out tight as you like, and click to repeat the action over there. Let's come back in a little bit, and now I'm gonna spacebar, scale, edge loop complete. I'm gonna scale that in and do the same over here. Scale that in, or I can just click and repeat that. And just check that now. So there we have it, a nice seam there in the middle. But there was something else actually I wanted to do before that, so I'm just going to undo that, and now I'm going to add in some edge loops here. So insert, one there and one there. I'll probably add another one here. No, I'll leave that one out actually. Now I'd like to create I'm going to use polyart vertex mode split, and I'd like to I don't want the crease on it, so I'm going to hover over the vertex space, and I'm going to say do not crease. So I'm going to create that there. Before I do that, I'm going to slide these over so I have more space to create, just so I have more space to create a larger circle here. Move this down and split again. Now we can create a larger circle there. And now I'm going to hover over an edge and use the insert, which is already selected, and we'll add in a loop there and a loop there. Or actually, I won't do that. I'll leave that one there. I'm going to inset this polygroup island. So inset polygroup island. I'm going to inset that once and one more time. And now that little purple one in there, I'm going to Q mesh that because it's its own has its own polygroup island. Q mesh polygroup island, and just extrude that inwards just to give us a nice little seam in there. Okay, so that's that done. So the next thing we're going to do here is I'm just going to add a little piece here that's going to stick out. It's just I don't know what it's called. Binocular terminology isn't the best, so it's just going to be basically a piece that kind of extrudes out from the side of the binoculars, and maybe some sort of buttons or something like that. So I'm going to insert an edge loop here and an edge loop here, and I'm going to probably yeah, I think I'm going to use the bridge tool. So I'll show you how that works. I'll just hold down space over the face, and I'm going to delete, go to delete these two. Now hover over an edge, hold space, bridge, and you'll see here a little tool tip. I want to click, let's turn to the side a bit, we'll click our first edge here, or actually what I want to make sure first is to turn on two holes here rather than edges. You can bridge adjacent faces, or else you can bridge two holes that are, you know, on different parts of the mesh, as long as they're open holes. So two holes, click the first edge, and when you click the second edge, you can drag, you drag left for elevation, left and right for elevation, and then up and down will give you your segments, and you can hold shift then to snap. So let's go with that amount. Might be a bit too big actually. I'll just do that again. Click the first, second, drag to the right, up, bring it in. Actually, I think no, I can always use the clip brush. So yeah, I'll leave it at that there, and I'm going to select, tag these two, and I'm going to inset them as a single poly. So I'll make sure I'm on inset region, set. So I'll shift, I think something might have been masked there. So I'll inset them, and now I'm going to use Q mesh. I'm just going to create Q mesh polygroup island, and I'm just going to create an extra bit of detail here. So I'll just extrude out once, twice, just to give us a kind of a sort of a nubbiny sort of extra bit of detail. And also want to hold shift and insert an edge here and one here. I can hold shift to snap, so do the same up there. Go close to the edge, you want to snap that, and just hold shift to parallel it to that edge. So shift parallel, just to tighten that up a little bit there, and I'm going to use the clip curve and we'll just kind of flatten this out a bit. And also I'm going to add in some more edge loops just to tighten this up a bit. Tighten it up on these two corners so I can snap it using holding shift. You can see how tight they are now. But I'm gonna add in an edge loop here and another one here. And I'll just square that up a little bit more. And I think I will. This is actually a bit too tight here now, so if you can hold Alt, you can delete those edge loops. They're a little bit too tight there, I think. So we've got some bad areas here. So one thing I probably should have done was I'm just going to undo all the way back. No harm in trying things out, and if you fail or you're not happy, just do them again. So I should have inset this first. So I'm going to tag and tag. I'm going to inset these first, single poly, and inset. The mask is on there again, sorry. Just make sure that mask is cleared, and inset. Right, for some reason the inset isn't working on these. I don't know why it is. So I'm just gonna Q mesh them out, and then I'm gonna choose edge, scale, edge loop complete. And I just scale that in, and click on this one, and do the same there. It's I don't know why it wasn't working, but I'm not gonna waste any more time. So what we want to do now is I'm going to tag these two and delete them. Now back to edge mode, and we're going to use the bridge. So bridge, two holes, click the first edge, click the second edge, and drag left and right for the height and up and down for the segments. So we'll go with 6 maybe. Yeah, we'll go with 6, and let's get a quick idea. That looks not too bad. I'm just going to add in some edge loops here. So into insert and add an edge loop there and there. We don't want to add any there. Just to tighten that up a little bit, and then maybe we can use some clip curve just to bring it in. it's just like some sort of handle or something like that, you know. And while we're here, then maybe we can just add an extra bit of detail. Let's try the inset again. No, it's doing the same thing. Oh well, no harm. Q-mesh. And scale these in again. Edge roll complete. Scale that one in as well there now. And then we can add some more edge loops in here. Q-mesh is down. I don't know why this inset is not working. It's really annoying me. Single poly, blah 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 blah, inset region. Now the next thing we're going to add is I'm just going to turn off symmetry because this is going to be only on one side. I'm just going to tag these here and inset them. And now we use Q-mesh, polygroup island, and once, and then just click again, and then we'll inset one more time. I'll just tag them quickly and inset. Now we're going to want to add some more edge loops in here just to tighten up the usual. So hover over an edge, insert one there and one there, and that tightens up that area there for us, just where that little inset is. Right, so the next thing now, I'm going to just use there's like a sort of a cap or some sort of pivot here or something on the front. So I'm going to use, for that I'm going to use insert mesh brush. So B, and I have this it's 3D creation kit. I think it's from, yeah, it's from badking.com. You can see the and the bloke that created it. You see the website there. So I'm just going to use something from this Bad King brush set. Press M, and I'll use maybe this one here, and just go to the center and drag it out, and you can see now that it's automatically smooth because it's part of this mesh and dynamic smoothing is on. So what I might do there is I'll just isolate that. I'll just clip the back off it, bring it back, and I'm just going to mask it. Let's mask it. Sorry, the rest of it's still masked. Invert it and move it back towards the mesh. Maybe squash it in a little bit. Move it back out, and that should do. And I'll just move it up a touch. No, that's pretty good there because we created it bang on the center. So that can be our dial or a knob or whatever it is. Now we might want to get rid of some of these edges in here, or else we can do an inset. I want to go back into my Zmodeler brush because I'm in the insert mesh brush, and we're going to inset flat border, and then hover over an edge and delete, and we can delete some of these just to maintain quads. So if you just delete every second edge, which I didn't do, that's going to bring us back to quads. And this is why usually, you know, you want to create you know, these cylindrical kind of shapes. When you have them in equal numbers of segments, you can always kill off those tripole caps and bring some quads back to it, you know. So we see we're not getting that pinching where the pole is when it was just all tries. Right, so the next thing now we're going to create, and we're going to do the same on the back here, and I might just use something different. So I'll bring up the brushes again and go back to that 3D creation kit brush, and what else have we got here? Yeah, I might just use something, maybe one of these here. Yeah, I'll just use this one here. Drag it out, make it a bit bigger. Yep, that'll do me there. Clear the mask, and now I'm going to sort out the back of this here. So I'm going to Q mesh, turn symmetry back on, go back into our Zmodeler brush, and I'm going to turn on let me see, yeah, use Q mesh, flat island, and I'm going to Q mesh out, and then might have been a bit far. I'll just Q mesh out, and now I'm going to hover over an edge, scale, edge loop complete, scale it down, and what else do we want to do here? Yeah, I'll just create some detail on the back. So I'll just come out once, twice, scale that in, and just going to inset these now. Inset polygroup island. You can inset them in once and again, and if you want, then you can get rid of all them just to kill off the triangles. But I'm not gonna bother doing that here, just for this demonstration. I might have actually come in a bit too far there, so sorry, it doesn't respect the masking. So I'll just scale that back up a bit. I didn't want as much of a taper on it there. Now what we want to do is mask lasso, and we're going to Control Shift X to grow that selection, Control W just to give it its own polygroup, and I also want to give this its own polygroup as well. So we'll just select these and Control Shift S to shrink, Control W to, that's the same as the other one, just to give me another poly group. And now what we can do is we can use those poly groups. So back to our Zmodeler brush. Sorry, that scale that time. I want to mask this again and invert the mask and just move it back into position where it should have been. I should have checked that from the other angles when I scaled, but I didn't. So now we're going to use Q Mesh and Polygroup Island. Clear the mask once, twice, and one more time. Just to give us that bit of detail there in the back. Okay, so that's the back part of it done there. And they might actually be a bit too long. So just gonna mask this, invert the mask, and just bring it in a bit. Might have been a bit too long. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, that's better there now. Clear the mask. Back to Zmodeler. Now just a dial to add in at the back here, but I'm going to create the dial as a separate subtool, and we can just append it then. So we'll just go back to our primitive poly mesh. I actually want to go to Cylinder 3D and change some of these settings and initialize. So I'm going to change this to 60, and we're going to bring this down, and that'll do. Make poly mesh 3D. Now for this part here, I'm going to clip it first. It's too big. For this part here, we're going to use some radial symmetry. So the first thing I'm going to do is hover over an edge, insert, and we'll insert one here and insert one here. So we know that we set this up with 60, so if I hit X to turn on symmetry, and I think it's Y symmetry radial, and set this to 30, that means it's going to do every second one. So we can tag a face, and then we can tag these faces, and then just skip across one and tag these faces. And now when we Q mesh, single poly Q mesh, we can make use of our radial symmetry there. So I'm just going to come out once, and now we want to make sure to switch over to Polygroup Island. Do it again, and one more time. And now what we want to do is go onto an edge. We can turn off radial symmetry. Onto an edge, insert, and insert an edge there, 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 and there. And also we want a control edge along here as well, just to tighten up that, and over here, and that should do us. Right, so it has that weird UV thing I was talking about earlier on, so just come down here delete UVs. It should be grand again then. So that's pretty much that shape done. One more thing I want to do is I'm going to inset these flat island or polygroup island, and I'm going to inset them, and then we're going to Q mesh once, twice, and now I'm going to do the same thing again here. I'm going to turn on radial symmetry, set to 30. I'm going to tag these, and sorry, I'm going to tag these once, twice. Let's see how that looks. Pretty shitty the moment, so worked out pretty bad. So just make sure that geometry doesn't collapse in on itself here, and turn off symmetry, edge, insert. We can insert an edge here to tighten it up. Just gonna go a bit closer. Insert one in here, and insert another one in here, and another one here. Just to give us a bit more detail on that. And now if we go back to our original tool, subtool, and we'll just append that weird knobby yoke, whatever it was. And using our transpose, sorry, I'll just alt click on this to select it, and then shift dragging with our transpose to snap it in angle increments, and then we'll move it up. Move it back, and I'm just going to scale it down. Scale it down a good bit. And move it up this way as well. And we can just size it up a touch. Not very ergonomic, but let me see. Yeah, I should have really spaced that out there. So if we go back here and use our transpose, I'm just going to mask off this part because we don't want the curvature of that to be affected. Which it has been. Right, so we're just gonna mask this off here. mask. Let me see. Mask that off and move this. So you don't want that circle to be. It's just the geometry because of the. It's the geometry, so it's masking by verts. So we don't really have enough there. So we could add in some more. Add in some more geometry here. So we just insert maybe an edge loop there and there. And mask again. And back to our move tool. See what that's giving us now. Yeah, it's giving us a lot more space to work with, so we can come back to this now and maybe raise the size up a bit and maybe move it in. And that's pretty much it. So one other thing here that I might do is make this pretty ridiculous looking. So I might go about that a different way. Right, so I'm not really happy with these stupid things coming out the side here at all. So I'll show you how we can delete geometry as well, maybe to tidy it up a bit. So I'm just going to use a mask lasso and Control Shift X just to grow that selection, and swipe off the canvas to invert that, and then just delete hidden. And I'm going to get rid of these. Insert Alt, and we get rid of that and that. For some reason that's creased, so we go to crease and just Alt, remove that crease. And now I'm going to close these holes. So you can hover over the edge and close, and just close them up. We'll do the same over this side. And the reason I'm doing it here without using symmetry is, I don't know, for some reason it won't let me delete one of the edges if I'm using symmetry. So we go to our delete and we just delete our edges. It just wouldn't let me use symmetry. I don't know what it was, and I can't use mirror and weld obviously because it's not symmetrical now with this here. So you know, if you're OCD like I am a little bit, and that's annoying you that they're different colours, we can just use the polygroup tool, and if you click and hold down your mouse and then just tap shift, we can copy and paste a polygroup to those other ones. So hold down the mouse, left, and then it'll change to the last one you're on. Just tap shift and then that'll copy it, and then you can just paste it elsewhere. So that's that. Now we'll do something different maybe this time with this. Turn symmetry back on and we'll just tag these faces, maybe tag these ones here, and now we're going to inset and Q mesh polygroup island and extrude that out, and then we can come over here and use a clip curve, and we clip curve here as well, just to straighten it up a bit, and then we can add in our extra edge loops just to tighten it up, and maybe what's it talking about, non-symmetrical? Oh yeah, sorry, it's that already has that edge loop there, so we'll turn off X symmetry and turn it back on again. So turn it off. I put a loop in there, didn't it? Right. Now we just need to more loop here. Symmetry was on. And maybe, just maybe, we can just add another one there. And maybe just, let's see, yeah, we can split this. Split that, and then just click, click, click. Now I have the crease turned off, so I'm going to undo that and hover over it and turn on crease ring. And we do it again. Click, 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 and now back to our face and Q mesh polygroup island, and we just drag that through and create a nice hole, and click there the same, and those holes that, I don't know, don't do anything. Let's just pretend that I don't know, you put a strap through them or something. So maybe what else can we do here? Yeah, I think maybe we'll just leave it at that. I'm sure people are getting absolutely bored to tears. So last thing to do here, we just want to turn symmetry on this and move that back into position. Because remember, we stretched the whole thing out. And maybe we'll just give that a, I don't know, fleck yellow, and MRGB, fill object, and maybe put the, I don't know, I love this one, Grey Clay Extreme. Back to this, and Z, and finito. So that's pretty much the binoculars. So we call this finished, and I hope you weren't too bored and you learned a bit.